Good evening, Stampers. How is everybody? My name is Judy Anderson, and I'm from judystamps.com, and I'm a independent demonstrator in the United States. And Diane is from Canada, and we pair up every week and do our lives. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for your willingness of letting me come on tonight instead of today. It ends up our power went out like 15 minutes before I was supposed to come on anyways, and was on and off all afternoon. And I had some appointments later in the afternoon, so we are coming on tonight. So let me know if you would rather have me come on in the evening on Tuesdays, or if you like me coming on in the afternoon. It's 1 o'clock my time, so I think it's 11 o'clock your time. So let us know in the comments, and we will adapt to what you guys want. So this week, Diane and I are covering a celebration, the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. And we decided we're going to use our own stamp sets to show you guys the versatility of this wonderful paper that you can earn for free. Now in the States, you can earn it free with a $50 purchase, and I believe in Canada it's $60 with a $60 purchase. So a little bit more, but hey, you know what? That's okay. Free is good, isn't it? So let me get you turned around and let's get started. Get you in my holder here. Tighten you up and turn the camera around. So I am pairing that paper up with the Always in My Heart bundle that's found in the January to June mini catalog. Now many of us are calling this the JJ catalog because of January and June. So you may hear me say JJ catalog instead of January to June. This is found on page 12, and the bundle is this wonderful stamp set and the dies. And I'm going to tell you, this set is not only for Valentine's Day, but this makes wonderful wedding cards, anniversary cards, friend cards, as well as Valentine's. I have made several cards already, and I'm going to tell you I have not used red and pink. I did use Rococo Rose, but I have not done it in a Valentine theme yet. Now, I mentioned to you the Designer Series paper, and I want to let you know that that paper actually is made to coordinate with the bundle on page 31 of the JJ catalog, and it's the Pretty Perennials. So if you're looking to coordinate exactly with the flowers, these are a more watercolor wash, and the ones in the paper are more solid, but that's where the coordination between the two catalogs is. So here's the Always in My Heart stamp set, and then the dies. Now the dies, we're going to be using this wonderful die today, and then it also has a banner die and some edgelet and some heart dies in here also. So as you can see, it's an awesome value. I am loving this die, and then these dies. Now we're going to be using these flower dies, and it cuts the 3 flowers out all together. And those are more of a skeleton type or a detailed die, and then your solid flowers that go underneath it are in here. Okay, let's get started. So I paired up mine with the Rococo Rose. I will show you the other card I made with the Seaside Spray base, and I cut my Designer Series paper to measure 4 by 5 1/4, and I cut it in half at 2 inches. Now I want to keep that design together, and you'll see why in a moment. My card base is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And I scored it at 2 1/8 from each end. Now for a gatefold card. Now I find scoring it at 2 1/8 from each end gives me a more precise seam down the center. So I prefer to cut mine that way. We're going to go ahead and flip these 2 over. I love these design on this side. I had a tough time deciding which side to use, but I felt my heart die showed up better on the other side. But I'm finding these papers are wonderful. I have a class actually coming up in February, and I'm highlighting this paper. Now I am going to take this and line it up right to the center. Okay. we don't want any of the card base showing in the center. So I'm going to line these up so it's going to almost appear like it is a normal card. Okay, we're going to set this to the side. We're now going to be working on our heart die. And I just noticed I'm missing my center heart. Now with the center heart, this does cut out, so I do have a navy blue heart that I'm going to be able to use on another project. But I decided to cut it out in Whisper White. I'm going to take my Rococo Rose ink and my blending brush, and I'm going to color it. Yes, I could have gone ahead and used a piece of Rococo Rose, but I wanted a softer look for this. And when I use my brush, I do put my hand here, although you don't have to. I just find that I have better control when I put my finger on here. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, brush it off a little bit, and now I want this more of a variegated color, so I am going to do it a little bit darker on this side and then rub it out. Okay, and continue rubbing. Now I'm going to turn it around so I can continue that color across. And if you find that you need a little bit more color or want a little bit more color, I want a little bit more color going down the side here. So I'm going to go ahead and blend that down and then across some more so it's not so stark of a variation. Okay, and you can tell that it's a little bit darker in here, and that's where I want it. Well, I still want it a little bit darker. I want that variegated. I don't want it as solid. If I wanted it solid, I would have just done it out of the cardstock. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a strip of Whisper White. Oops. I had one here. I don't know what happened to it. Now you could cut out the banner actually that's in the dies, and I didn't even think of that to begin with. But I am going to need a way to adhere this so it is to the center. So I decided to do a banner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take my liquid glue. And I'm going to put some liquid glue on this bunch of leaves here. And then on this bunch of leaves right here. And I am just going to run this across just like that. Okay, we're going to flip this over. We're just going to leave it long. We're going to trim it off later. And I'm going to adhere this onto the banner here. We're just going to go ahead and set that right in the center there, and it fits perfectly. Just give it a little bit of a rub. We're going to set that aside for just a second. Okay, I'm going to close up my ink, and I am going to take out my mini cut and emboss machine. Now with this, I want to give you a little bit of a hint. I found it difficult when I lined up my plates directly. It was hard to push through. So when you do this, you want to put up your base plate, which is number 1. You want to take your number 2 plate, line it just a little bit up. Go ahead and take your cardstock and your die. And then when you put your top plate on, actually I reverse these two. I like to keep one as a cutting plate. So we're going to reverse those two real quick here. Okay, we're just going to leave just a little bit of a gap there at the end, and do so with the second plate also. Okay, so as you can see, they're lined up like steps. And then when you run this through, because it's such a small plate across there, it has a little bit of difficulty if they're all lined up, but doing it this way, it's super easy. So I just wanted to give you guys that hint. I have cut some of these out already, so we don't have to cut them all. I'm going to move this out of the way and go ahead and remove these. Just poke these out. Set those where I can find them later. Okay, so now we have the little rose, this little blossom type one, and I'm calling this a lily. So we have those three. So what I could do is you need 2 of each of the large and 3 of the lily. I went ahead originally and cut out some out of the Rococo Rose. But for this card, I want to do it a little bit different. I did use my blending brush for the Seaside Spray, but this time I'm going to use the blending brush for the Seaside Spray and the Rococo Rose, and then I'm going to show you the difference. So I know I need 2 of the large, and I need 2 of the rose large, and I need 3 of the lilies. Now you can choose which ones you want to color. I'm going to go ahead and color the 2 large ones and leave the lilies white. I think the last time I left these white. So we're going to start with our Seaside Spray. And I'm going to start with my blending brush again. And I'm just going to color these. And this is going to give these a softer look. And because these bristles are so soft, they don't fold up your dies. Like these centers, if I was using a sponge, those would probably bend up. But the bristles on these are so soft. I think that this is like a must-have for every stamper. So if you haven't placed your order yet, you want to make sure you place these on your order, because you're going to regret not getting them once your order comes. I'm just saying, guys. Okay, and you can make them as dark as you want, but see how soft they're looking? So I'm going to put those to the side. We're going to take these 3 lilies to the side, and now I'm going to get my pink brush. Now I've decided that each of my brushes are going to be designated a certain color family. So I'll use the pink brush for all the pinks, the blue for all the blues, and you just have to wipe them out a little bit in between time to clean them. You can wash them, although I have not washed them yet and have not had any trouble going from one color to the next. So I'm just coloring that, and see how much softer they look. And then to clean it, all you want to do is keep brushing it. And like I said, I put my finger on here for just better control. You could color like this if you want, as long as you don't push real hard. But you would just keep brushing this out until the color was no longer. Okay, so we're done with those. So let's finish putting this together. Okay, I'm getting ink all over my fingers. Let me clean my fingers a second. So how was your day? I actually... with the starting of knowing that I wasn't going to have electric part of the day, was a little hesitant and then I had an appointment, and then my brother is moving, and my brother came up from Arkansas, so he helped me help my other brother move. Okay, we're going to take Night of Navy. This is the inside of our card, and I am going to put on the inside, "You are always in my heart." I'm just going to center that right there. I am going to take this big blossom flower in the Seaside Spray, or I mean in the Nighted Navy. I'm going to take the rose one and do it in the Seaside Spray. Right down here. I'm just making a cluster of flowers. That one, then I'm going to take the lily and the Rococo Rose. Just want to get all my stamping out. Now you could add some leaves if you wanted, but I didn't think it was necessary for this. So that's going to be the inside of our card. Okay, we're going to grab our silicone mat and finish putting this together. So we have our flowers, we have our silicone mat, we have our liquid glue, and we have a little sponge. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the liquid glue, put it on there, put these upside down, and dab some glue on these. Now I could also use our adhesive sheets. I just find this a lot easier. I have trouble getting our adhesive sheets off. Okay, once I get them onto the piece that I'm putting it on. But that's just me. I have clients that swear by it and use it all the time. Okay, so we've got those on. Let's get our 2 Seaside Spray flowers on. Once again, dab a little bit of glue on here. And what's nice about the silicone mat is you just let that glue dry on there and peel it right off later. That's what I love about these silicone mats. Okay, we're just going to set this one on here, line it up. And I'm going to tell you, if you put these on the way that, so that when you cut, it's going down, it's almost like it's backwards on these flowers. But I like the soft edges, and I don't mind that Night and Navy behind there. It kind of acts as a shadow. Okay, now we're going to grab our 3 lilies and glue those up. Yes, my fingers are getting all full of glue. Let's go ahead and put this one on here. And as you can tell, I'm not lining it up directly because I want that shadow of that Night and Navy behind it. I peel this one up. And they overlap a little bit, and hey, that's okay. I need a little bit more glue. Let's just dip that on that one. Actually put that on the wrong side, but you guys didn't hear that. So that one's being placed upside down. Okay, my hands are so sticky. It would rather stick to my hand. There we go. And see how that shadowing makes it look 3D? I love that. Okay, we're going to put this mat onto the side. And I'm going to take the phrase, the best kind of friend is the kind like you. And let's hope that this will fit what I have left on this strip. Oh yes, plenty of room. Just stamp that on there. I'm going to grab my paper snips and we're going to cut around the verse because I just want the verse on there. I don't want a banner. For the look of this card, I just want it kind of free form, not real formal, because it's for a friend. And just go around here and loop around and just like that. Okay, so we have that. So I'm going to pop that up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. We only need a couple. Whoops, one went flying. My fingers are so sticky. Okay, and let's get this, place it. I'm going to place it, right about here. I could do it in an angle if I wanted. Okay, now we're going to form a banner out of this part. And I know it's not going to be that long. So we're just going to cut our own tails. And we may have to shorten it to make sure that it's within the card front and doesn't overhang so we don't have problems with it fitting into our envelope. Just like this. How many of you make your banners like that? That was like an aha moment when I learned that trick. Okay, now this is going to go in the front. Just like that. and it does fit fine. So I'm going to put it on there. Then I'm going to just flip it over because I know I'm going to want the glue on this side, on that half of my heart. Let's get that right like that. We're going to put it down just a little bit. Just press that, but we're not done yet. Now we're going to get some rhinestones. And let me see if I have some that are 3 sizes. Nope. Oh yes, I have 3 sizes in this pack. So we are going to use a large, a medium, and a small. So I'm going to place the large. Then I'm going to place the small. And then the medium, because I find that that way it's easier to place this medium centered between those two by doing it that way. Okay, let's get the inside of the card adhered on. Like I said, I am loving this bundle. Okay, so that is the front, or the inside, and then the front. I'm going to show you the one I did earlier. Now this one, I use a Rococo Rose cardstock, and I only blended on the flowers. And I'm thinking that both are great, but this has the Seaside Spray base, and this one has the Rococo Rose. So there you go. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining me tonight, and be sure to let us know. Do you want us to come on in the evening, or is it better in the afternoon? Until next time, everybody, happy stamping. Bye-bye.